Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In My Opinion. As you can see, we are back.
We are back.
Okay, your favorite YouTubers are back. Your favorite podcasters are back, and we are finally back for season 2 that we promised you last year. Yeah.
Yes.
I hate to break it to you, but we're in 2021 already. So woohoo!
Yes. Hopefully, it's not as much of a shit show.
Yeah, hopefully it's not as much of a shit show. And as you can see, our set is slightly different. So we are in a new location right now because our dear Mr. Lester Pang has shifted house. If you all want to hunt him down, too bad you all can't find him anymore.
Cannot find me. Can't find me.
And just to update you all, our channel will be going through some changes. There'll be some new segments, new content coming up. So don't say bojo. And as always, in my opinion, we love airing our opinions and we love hearing yours. Leave it in the comments below. Always engage us. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends that we're back.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
It's us.
We are back. Tell a friend.
That's right. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot more new stuff or trying to do more new stuff. We want to spice it up because we are very bored with the status quo. So we're going to try to spice things up,
Yeah, and I'm hitting an age milestone this year. If you are real fans, you will know how old I am. If you want to know, leave in the comments below how old I am this year. But I'm hitting an age milestone this year, so we're going to be shaking things up and keeping things exciting. And we love you guys, man.
Yes. So why don't we go into today's topic? So we chose a very juicy topic to start off the season. But it's something that when I saw, I was like, okay, I think it's time to start IMO. Because a lot of shit has happened so far in 2021.
Yeah, it's only been, 15 days?
Yeah.
And Trump has been impeached.
For the second time.
US Capitol has been sieged.
Yes.
And a lot more other exciting things have been happening because 2021 seems to start off with a bit of 2020's no chill.
And with that, it also came with one of the bigger sagas, especially in Singapore, is the whole mahjong cultural appropriation thing.
Okay, I wouldn't say that it's super big in Singapore. Yeah. I would just say that it's making headwaves on the internet.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's making its rounds.
So for those of you that are unfamiliar, if you have not heard of the mahjong line, in fact, you can just do a quick Google search. You type in the mahjong line as in Line, like Xian. Okay.
Yes.
The mahjong line. What has happened is basically these three ladies. Three?
I think it's three. Yeah. Three.
I believe it's three white ladies.
Caucasian ladies.
Three Caucasian ladies decided to start a brand called the mahjong line.
Yes. And basically what they did was they redesigned the mahjong tiles into just in my opinion, pretty ugly. But that's not the main point of the show.
We share the same opinion, okay, but that's not the point.
That's not the point today. So, but there's a lot of outrage because they were accused of culturally appropriating mahjong.
Yes.
And like basically changing the tiles in a way that is not sensitive to the culture and not sensitive to the history of mahjong.
Correct. And that is what we're talking about today.
Yeah, we will leave like a Martian News article down below in the description
of course,
box.
Martian News.
Of course, Martian News. So, and without further ado, John, what quick thoughts first?
Okay, so first things first, right? I feel that like it is ugly.
Ugly.
Okay, but that one is just my pure opinion, nothing intellectual one, huh?
Yeah, there's no.
But at the same time, I also feel that like it is also not the most appropriate thing to do, especially considering that mahjong is a Chinese game with Chinese origins, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that are for the uninitiated, right, in the US, right, the US of A, they play a variant of mahjong called American mahjong. Like how in Singapore we have Singapore mahjong, which is very different from Hong Kong mahjong, which is also very different from China mahjong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is a variant of the game. But what happened is that these three Caucasian ladies, they wanted to refresh the look of mahjong, of American mahjong, created a bunch of tiles that work better for the way they play. Okay?
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, that don't play mahjong, right? Mahjong have three main suits. Okay? The first suit is what we call 童子, which is if you directly translate, it means like copper, which is Chinese money last time, Chinese ancient China money, copper coins. And then next is 梭子, which is bamboo.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then next one is 万字, which is basically the Chinese characters, right? In denominations of 10,000. Okay, so 1. Yeah. But in American mahjong, these three suits are called different things. And rightly so, because they don't speak Chinese, right?
Yeah, they
so
don't understand.
铜子 copper coins, which they have no use of the term, are called dots because they fucking look like dots.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
dots, yeah, exactly.
And then bamboo, right? 塑子 bamboo, shortened colloquially to be BAMs.
Which is why the towel says bam, bam, bam.
Which is why if you go and search, right, there's one that likes bam, 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 bam.
Yes.
And then there's characters, they shorten it to cracks.
Which is why there's lightning.
Which is why there's like lightning and all sorts of other things. Which is why they created it in such a way. But I feel that this is also a little bit insensitive. Because like you create, I mean the game works without you having to do those things.
Yeah, okay. So we were talking we were having our pre-episode talks as per usual. And I think one of the things I brought up was like the parallel between within mahjong and also with like other like more quote unquote white games like chess and like poker cards and stuff like that.
Right.
Which has been redesigned to like no end really lah.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure if you go look at like chess boards, it's like redesigned to. I'm pretty sure there's like there are chess boards where like the rook is a tree or some shit like that. Like there's no reason that it's a tree, it just is because it kind of looks like a rook.
Exactly.
And there's also poker cards that have been redesigned. Of course, like everyone has different designs.
Everyone has seen poker cards in all sorts of designs.
Yeah, so
right.
What makes it so different?
Okay, let me read you the definition of like cultural appropriation and why people are crying foul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is cultural appropriation? It's the unacknowledged or inappropriate adoption of the customs, practices, ideas, etc. of one people or society by members of another, and typically more dominant people or a more dominant society, right? Yeah. So the thing about it is that why is this a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's because, like, for example, we come back to the example of poker cards. Okay.
Yeah.
Poker cards is a deck of cards that eventually evolved to not just play the game of poker.
There's bridge. There's tight.
Yeah. And then also,
yeah.
but funnily enough, I think the closest example actually is chess.
Yeah.
Because chess, there's only one way you can play chess using a chess set.
I mean, there are other variants, but
I mean, to be fair, the objective is still the same.
It's the same, yeah. It's exactly the same.
And like for mahjong, no matter how much the variation is, the way to win is still
kind of
similar.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you can play a Monopoly deal with like 5 cards or 3 cards in your hand. Is the objective, like the end state is still the same.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But why is it different here? And I think this is where it's important because there is an element of a more dominant society or more dominant people, doing inappropriate things to your practices. And I think that's the key here.
It's a race thing more than anything.
Yeah. It's a race and power dynamic thing. So I just gonna put it out there, and I know I'm gonna receive some hate, but okay, like as always, I encourage people to leave intellectual comments because when I come into IMO episodes, I come in here to have my mind changed, willing to have my mind changed. Yeah. So as a Singaporean Chinese, okay, when I see this mahjong line thing happening, right, I don't feel anything. In fact, I don't really feel super outraged or super upset.
I think it's fine.
Right? Yeah. I feel like I don't think it's fine because it's really ugly. And I also, secondly, I don't think it's fine because I feel that like the game can already exist without these changes. Why must you do it? Right? And thirdly, right, which I think is the most important one, why I don't feel anything is because there's nothing at stake for me. Because my culture, my race is the dominant majority one in my society.
Yes.
And I think this is the key here.
Yes.
You know? Why is it that there's a lot of outcry from Asian Americans? It's because in
the minority there.
Yes, and in the US, right, this is usually the first step in eroding something that is culturally yours.
Yes.
Yeah. So like it's a very harmless step, especially to a Caucasian white person.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. But to the Asian American, why is there so much immediate strong outcry? Is because majority race people, y'all don't know this. It real quick suddenly enough people play it, the new look, new style, the old one's gonna disappear.
They've seen this dance before. I think they are like they know that okay, shit's about to happen.
Yeah.
And like it's like, man, I've seen this bullshit like
Correct.
1,000 times already.
Correct.
And like it's time to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that Singaporeans don't understand. So I would say I don't understand why Singaporeans are so upset, but at the same time I do think that within the local context of Singapore, I think this was a bit blown up.
Yeah,
Out of
definitely.
proportion.
In fact, I think Singaporeans, if you want to be upset about things like cultural appropriation, right, focus on our own country first.
Like go and think about like how the
Yeah.
like Malay games or like Malay
Like you think
cultures
about how
can-
like all our minority cultures, we don't talk about games, it can be a whole bunch of other things
Yeah.
that we as Chinese people insensitively I won't say we appropriate, but like recent examples, there was one with the property agents where they go and appropriate some the sari and all that kind of thing. I cannot
Did they?
remember. Yeah, they did
Oh,
last
my
year.
bad.
And then there's another one which is like I mean it's a whole bunch of
I
things.
mean, there's of course the brown face incident with the
Yeah.
Nets ePay like advertisement
Yeah.
and everything.
So
like that.
suddenly these things, why is it less exciting than Mahjong Line? Huh?
I don't know, but I
Majority race people.
I think that's
answer
what it is
that.
lah.
You
It's
know?
the fact that there's like a minority race, and especially in America, the context is a bit different from ours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I was also talking. So I do agree that like in that sense, it's a bit shitty because in the minds of a minority, they really don't have that much representation. They don't really have much that they can claim their own.
Correct.
And then you go ahead and you essentially snatch it away from them.
Correct. This is a step that unknowingly erodes away the culture.
Yeah.
And like that's where it gets unfair, lor.
Yeah. One of the parallels that I think someone told me
Yeah.
was that like it's like how we get upset when white people are casted into Asian movies.
Yes.
But not when but white people cannot get upset when they are not casted into Asian movies.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like it's that same level, but like if white people suddenly come out and say like, wait, why you never cast me in Mulan? Or like why you never cast me in like some Asian like kung fu movie?
Yeah.
Then we will be like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah.
You already have so many movies, just stick to your damn lane.
Exactly. That is the argument there.
Yeah.
That is the argument there. So like I think like what people are saying here about whitewashing,
Yeah.
right? It's like that's the entire point, you see. Because they have been the dominant culture for the longest time.
Yes.
So coming in and switching up the game to an aesthetic that fits, right? If I think like I was telling you earlier before this episode about how if I go into a very psychopathic unsympathetic business mode, right? 100%, man, I will play the cards well. I'll get a proper representation by having someone that fronts my product not being a white person, all that kind of thing. All this can be done by a very psychopathic business person.
Yes.
And that will suddenly make your product a bit more okay,
Mm.
right? But still, it erodes the culture.
Yes.
How instead to make a game like this more available for everyone, right, would be what we mentioned earlier, would be to elevate a culture,
Which is
Right.
arguably harder. lah.
which is super hard because you
Yeah.
think about it, right? Let's say you talk about Mulan,
Yeah.
right? Let's say we talk about a show like Mulan. In order to know that our cultures are equal, right, it must reach a point whereby Mulan can be interchangeably anyone. But that's not the case, right?
No.
Mulan has to be Chinese,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because there is a certain value there, right?
Mhm.
If all races were truly equal, we can switch Mulan to be anyone, right? And people will not be upset.
But it's not.
But it's not.
It's just the reality of things.
Yeah. And there is a reason why. It's because there is also,
Because you're not treated equally. lah.
yes, there is a power dynamic in the world. And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
power dynamic in the big countries that make this kind of content
Mhm.
and make this kind of like media.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's important.
And
Right.
one of the questions I was thinking about, and I also asked John, was this like us as let's say if I was Asian American,
Yeah.
I'm not lah, but like I'm trying to put myself into their shoes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lift up my community and my culture, which includes trying to get people to play my traditional games more, trying to get people to eat my food more, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, as you are introducing these things to more people, isn't it a natural byproduct that that eventually these things will become less culturally rooted to the original form?
Yeah. No, this is where I agree.
Yeah.
Right? That eventually you are bound to erode away at certain
You have
cultural it will erode away
Yeah.
as a byproduct of adaptation and sharing,
to.
for sure. But the point is you do not want it to be like a appropriation. Right?
Okay.
It can stand the test of time. In fact, Mahjong was created as an ancient game, right? Has made it to like the culture, the Western cultures and all that kind of thing without changing its form.
Yeah.
Right. So there is no need to try to reach out, make the game more accessible. because it already is very accessible in its original form. So for something that has stand the test of time for so long, right? And then someone with from a dominant society or group comes in to switch it up, right?
Yeah.
Switch it up so that you can fit the group more, right? It's dangerous. You see, because we don't erode. It doesn't erode based on what is more natural. It is appropriated and taken away.
If someone comes in and says, I don't like about something about this, I'm going to change it, and it's like
correct.
unnaturally eroded.
Correct. It's like changing an ingredient in traditionally Singaporean dish. Purely because they feel that, for example, if white people change nasi lemak and then they add ketchup.
I mean,
because they cannot eat spicy food.
Is that their prerogative though?
No, but it's the same, you see. It sounds outrageous from the start. In fact, I feel that to most people, when you put this example and if you really go and think about it, the first response that comes to mind is an emotional one.
Yeah, because you're very connected to it and you feel more emotional.
And you're protective of your own culture's things.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Which is fair.
Which is fair, definitely.
Yeah. But at the same time, in a very psychopathic business way, what the three white ladies did is also fair.
I think that what they did was wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that whatever they did shouldn't have been done. But I do think that it's like severely blown out of proportion.
No, I feel that it is fair, right? In a business sense.
Yeah.
But it's unfair to people. You see, the thing about it is that now we exist in a society that is nobody is ever alienated. No one is an island. What you do has consequences on other people's lives.
Yes.
Right? So in a isolated, individualistic way, right? Creating something like the mahjong line is perfectly fair and fine, man. In fact, it's very entrepreneurial. It has all the good things that come with what is valued in modern society, in Western society. More power to them as far as Western society and modern society is concerned. A meritocratic society is concerned.
Yeah.
But that is not the only sphere you exist in. You hear what I mean? And that is where it becomes problematic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have thought about it a little bit more, especially from the culture.
Correct. So but at the same time, I totally agree with you about it being blown out of proportions. Because you see, right, when people blow things out of proportion, right, emotionally, defensively, however you call it, right, what happens is that the person on the receiving end of this, right, is not able to sort of like change already. The power dynamic shift there, everything is all thrown into mess and then it becomes a camp of two enemies.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The gracious and correct thing to do, I feel, would have been to firstly call this behavior out.
Yes.
And then after that, these people have to understand and change. But that is the big thing that is lacking. And I think it's very clear in this thing that's happening here, which is happening in the United States. And that's how divisive it is.
Yes.
People get shot for cultural association, cultural appropriation.
Yes.
And are also simultaneously not given the space to flip around from that.
They're not given a second chance to like learn from it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know that this is not a exact parallel, but it does remind me a lot about like so I've been getting a lot into chess. If you guys don't know, you haven't watched this channel for a while.
Watch him
play chess.
lose.
But I've been I did lose a lot, but like I was getting a lot into chess. And at first when chess became more popular, eventual byproduct is that more people who are shitty at chess, aka me, will start playing. And I think there was like a period of time where a lot of chess players were very upset at that. Because they were like, oh, chess is
these are the purists.
The purists. Yeah, there you go. I know it's not an exact parallel, but it reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about it, because I think if you want, I was telling John, it's like you can't eat the cake and have it too.
Yeah.
So if you want your culture to be, or your game to be more widespread, you're gonna have to compromise some stuff.
You definitely will have to, but this is where we have to draw the distinction, no? Whether you want to compromise it quickly at one go, or do you want to let nature take its course? Because you see, when you compromise things quickly at one go, what are the benefits immediately, right? You immediately get people introduced to your version of the game. You lose a lot of the essence of what it originally is meant to be and stuff like that. And that was also why earlier in 2020 there was like a big outcry about white people who don't know how to cook rice.
Oh yeah, the Uncle Roger one.
Yeah, and there was a lot of outcry about crispy rendang.
Yeah.
Right? Why? It's because these are little nuanced things that are invaluable that are not valuable, right, to a dominant culture, to a majority culture, but extremely valuable to a culture that is trying to uplift itself.
That's true. Okay, yeah, the value is different.
It's very different, and it's very, very like it's just super not valuable to people to.
Because to them it's just like rice. It's like
And that's
rice,
why you
right?
see, as Singaporean Chinese, I feel that we are towing the perfect line here, because if we really go and look at the mahjong line, right, why are Singaporean Chinese being upset at this? They just want to join in the fun. What is that? Do we lose anything?
We don't, because we are
absolutely
the majority.
do not, eh.
Yeah, we are the majority.
So this is
don't
actually a
lose anything.
very good exercise. Those of you that are watching, I encourage you all to think about this with me. Do we lose anything if American mahjong becomes like that? Before this episode, before this entire saga, do you even know American mahjong exists?
I didn't know. Did you know, John?
I did not really know that it exists. I
Until
know there were
today.
variations,
Yeah.
but do you know it exists? Clearly not, right? That means in
Yeah.
Singapore, in Singaporean Chinese, we have no stake in this. So why are we blowing this out of proportion in our own Chinese
To be
society?
fair, are we ourselves blowing this out of proportion by talking about it on the podcast?
Maybe we are. So
Maybe
maybe
we are being
we
hypocrites
should be
now.
fixing other things. I mean,
Yeah.
leave it in the comments below, because we do want to engage in this. This is a very good conversation starter to help you start thinking about culture and
yeah.
race and where you stand in the power dynamic that is society. So like it's very interesting, because like we don't, like, the reason why there is such an outcry is very clear. It's because the Asian Americans, the Chinese in America, have a lot to lose.
Yeah, and I think, okay, I wouldn't say, I think it's a good way to think about, like, from this mahjong thing, good way to think about how we as Chinese people, or the majority race in Singapore, have been probably appropriating other
We definitely have.
cultures stuff, especially in Singapore. Like
A
Malay
good
culture,
example
Indian
is
culture,
I feel that we have one very good example in Singapore that we I think it's strong to call it cultural appropriation, but it's definitely a case study of cultural appropriation. Nobody knows how to pronounce jelak correctly anymore.
What is it? Is it Jalad?
Jelak.
It's luck.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
shit.
only learned this because like there were people
Oh,
who
no.
were correcting us in the comments. And very typically, right, a lot of Chinese people are chill lah, you know, that kind of thing. Which
But to
is
them, yeah, oh my god, yeah.
and this is where it's important, you see.
Yeah. To us, it's like, yeah, just
It's
chill,
like
bro.
in Singaporean Chinese, we always say kang tang what.
Yeah.
Kang tang is appropriated from Malay,
Yeah.
right? You see, this is where it gets blurred. So kentang is the
Is it kentang? Yeah, it's kentang.
kentang.
Yeah.
So like you see, this is where we let nature take its course and it erodes and it mixes together and becomes part of larger society, or you appropriate. If let's say suddenly someone comes to us and tell us this is a kentang,
Yeah.
then from then on you spread the word that it's a kang tang.
That's a bit tibai lah.
Then that's fucked up, right? Because
Yeah.
you do that on the spot and you steal away people's thing and say no, easier for us to pronounce.
So is it the intention that's the
No,
key?
I don't think
It's natural and it will be a bit more okay versus if someone intentionally
No, I don't think it's not about it. The issue here is not intention.
Okay, then what is it?
The issue here, right, is sensitivity.
Okay.
It's being sensitive to the fact that this is valuable to people.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, you brought up Uncle Roger. I know it's a separate point, but I brought up Uncle Roger and the whole fried rice incident. I don't think it's a hoo-ha, but he was making fun of it and everything. And
It's
actually,
literally how he got famous, right?
yeah, and actually he did do a lot of videos with Aunt Lily. So Auntie Lily.
Auntie Lily. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't follow his content because I think I'm already stupid enough. I don't want to watch more content that makes me stupid. More power to you, Uncle Roger. By the way, in case you want to get on our show, Uncle Roger, let us know, man.
Yes, yeah. But anyways, he did a lot of content eventually with Auntie Lily, and
Yeah.
they made fun of the whole situation about her using a lot of corianders and like about her like basically screwing up fried rice and everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good way. I kind of wish that was the response to them screwing up to them, the whole mahjong line thing versus us like just scolding them, and I'm pretty sure getting death threats.
The issue is you see, when you receive something like that, right, you must apologize and make yourself better and do better.
Yeah.
Right. Instead, what has the business chosen to do? Right, they have
Yes.
chosen to essentially pick within whatever power they have to silence the voices of whoever is making noises like that. So what do? They disable their comments. They don't let people tag. They use all the social media tools to silence them while their page is still active. That is like not
Are they
being
still promoting?
accountable. What? I'm not sure, but that's not being accountable. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, it's something that we have seen. This is not the first time we've seen businesses do this. Like businesses do this so many times, and it is a little. I think I don't understand that it's like the natural reaction to it, because like when people are like berating you, naturally you just want to like turtle up and just shell away from the world. But it would be nice if we like just reached out and we try to learn and like try to be better. As much as like I hope if / when one day we screw up, we will be able to do the same. We won't be like silencing the comments. You won't be doing shit like that.
And I think it's something
hey,
that like I think the internet needs to grow into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where people call people out and it ends there. Wow, we've been talking about this since 2020.
It's been
about people being gracious in the world like that.
Yeah.
But it's not happening yet.
Not yet. I think we're getting there a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, but this is another example whereby, a chance was given for both parties to both sides of the argument to become better. But no.
We're just pushing each other away.
And you think about it, like conversation can never happen one way. Right? So clearly the louder voice right now is people who are calling for them to do something. But the funny thing is there's no response. And what happens is this gives way for the more hateful people to come in.
Yes.
And that will make things even more divisive and even harder for the mahjong line people to come back with a response, an appropriate one.
Because, I mean, you can't blame them also. Like, you're getting scolded every day. That's all you can't on social media. All you see is just people hate comments. Then, of course, it's not going to.
Yeah, but
it's not going to set you in a very accepting mood also.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are things that you have to do, especially when things are at stake. Right? Yeah. You have to do it as someone who is in a position of power to do it.
I think we can learn a lot, like from a Singapore perspective. I don't think mahjong to us is getting threatened. I don't think the Chinese culture is being threatened. In fact, it's definitely not being threatened because we are the freaking majority culture.
We are the majority race.
But I do think like before we do the same thing, before we mess up in the same way, we should probably like check ourselves before we wreck ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think about it is that like I think one of the main things that is problematic, right, when we talk about majority race privilege, for us will be Chinese privilege, right, is that because of it being blinding, right, we are blinded to the value certain things have for the minority race. And like it's inappropriate things like this whereby you feel that from your perspective, why? It doesn't affect you. In fact, if you take a really snobbish moral high ground, I'm helping you promote your culture. Leh.
Yeah, that's
some bullshit.
It's not right.
Yeah.
It's not for you to decide.
Exactly.
It's not for you to decide how to promote. When I brought up the whole like if you promote your culture, eventually you erode. It's up to the person's culture to decide.
Yeah.
So if I want to promote my culture and I decide that okay, this is the only way to do about it, I have to like erode it a little bit. At least that compromise is my choice. And that compromise is under my control. But if they do it for us, that's not. Yeah,
exactly. And this is where the line has to be drawn, you see. Yeah. Especially if it's done by someone with a clearly more dominant power dynamic in society lah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we are more or less coming to the end of this episode lah, huh?
Yeah.
Cultural appropriation is definitely a topic that is way bigger than we can cover, and I think within our society we have a lot more about race and culture that we want to talk about lah.
Yeah, I mean race has been something that has been on our talk about list for like fucking forever. Like, honestly speaking, like we've been talking about it, and in fact before this season started, I've told John and we have both agreed that race is something that we cannot avoid anymore within this season. So I guess this is a little glimpse into the whole race conversation. I think it's such a big conversation. So this is definitely one part of it lah. And I think if you have gotten anything wrong, definitely tell us.
Yeah.
Because I mean we are of course the majority culture in Singapore. There are some things that we will inevitably not see the value of and inevitably mess up on. So if there's anything you guys want to add on, any examples you want to add on, just go ahead and tell us.
Yeah. I think like once again, I feel the need to encourage people every single time we start a new video. And that is to have peaceful intellectual discussions in the comments.
Yes.
The thing about it is that we don't know everything. We're just two motherfuckers sitting here airing our opinions. So if we do say anything wrong, please let us know. In fact, I would love to engage in more conversation to find out a little bit more, because after all, most of the time I mean it might not be immediately obvious because of my smart sounding tone of voice, but I'm pulling a lot of shit out of my ass here, and it's really my opinion. So
Yeah.
if you have anything that you would like to offer as a counterpoint, I'll try my best to read every single comment and respond to it. And
Yeah. And
it's
I think
great to be back. But
it has been great. It's really great to be back, guys. Like I've been like kind of not really cabin fever, but I've been kind of like thinking of editing IMO episodes for a very long time. It kind of feels weird that I don't have to edit every week. But it's a good break, but I'm glad to be back as well. I do want to have like one last question to leave you guys off, or like most of you guys off on. Is like why I don't have an answer myself, but I think I always ask myself, why is it that like the minority people seem to have more culture than like white people or than the majority race? Why is it that their culture is often considered less valuable? And I don't have the answer why, and I don't know whether that statement is even true in the first place. So if you guys have any opinions, do tell us. And if you guys want us to discuss that, that's such a big topic to talk about, and we will definitely go into it.
Yep. So many new things coming from season 2 onwards. So things like that, we'll try to give you all more opportunities to interact directly with us. Every month we'll be thinking of something that will allow us to directly address your questions, along with comments and questions that you all left from previous episodes, so that we have something that's more interactive.
So basically, because I don't reply to comments anymore because I'm very tired. I don't want to write essays anymore. But we do continue leaving your comments. The compromise that we're going to do is that at the end of every episode, the last 15 minutes or so, we'll go through the comments from the previous episode. So that is something that we'll definitely be doing. So look forward to that.
Especially those of you who are in the comments, if you all like a particular comment, give it more likes, bump it up, and then we'll try to cover as many as we can from the previous episode. And that will be the new thing going in. At the same time, right, on our channel, there's going to be a change in our channel name.
In our branding. You guys can stop asking me why my name is why the channel name is.
It's gonna change to John Lim.
It's not, but I mean, you guys can go and watch that channel trailer. That will definitely be up by now. I think it should be up by now. And you guys can go ahead and watch and hear why we changed it and everything. So,
press the damn notification bell, man. But also at the same time, Lester let loose a soft whisper of the word streaming just now. I won't tell you what yet. When it's reviewed, it'll be reviewed.
It'll be reviewed soon, guys.
Yeah, but
it's
soon to come. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, stay safe and take care, guys.
Yeah, man. Drink more water, wear masks.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.